on the theme COVID-19 issues, policies, and challenges. On this occasion, I feel honored to have an opportunity to welcome you all who are attending the first lecture of this series. On behalf of both the departments, I welcome our respected head of CUH family, Professor R.C. Koharji, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Central University of Haryana, for accepting our invitation and joining us. At the same time, I express my sincere thanks and heartfelt gratitude to you, sir, for being a continuous source of inspiration and motivation for each of the faculty member of CUH in doing all such kind of activities based on research, teaching, and social issues. Thanks a lot, sir. We again welcome you, sir. Further, it's a moment of great pleasure and honor to all of us that today we have one of the most distinguished and great personalities of India, the respected Sudhendu Jyoti Sinha ji, advisor of Niti Aayog, the apex think tank of Government of India. Sir, on behalf of the Department of Geography and Department of Political Science of CUH, I welcome you and convey regards and gratitude from the core of my heart for accepting our invitation in such a panic and terrible period and sparing your valuable time to enlighten us on the mitigation of COVID-19. Thank you very much, sir. Again, we welcome you, sir. I also welcome all deans, Professor Sanjeev Kumar, Professor Rajesh Malik, Professor Neelam Sangwan, Professor Dinesh Gupta, Professor Anand Sharma, and all heads, my senior colleagues, teaching fraternity of CUH who could spare their valuable time to be here. Most importantly, I also welcome all the participants who are attending this lecture through YouTube or through WebEx from different parts of the country to make this event worthwhile. I hope you all would enjoy the lecture and be benefited from it. Namaskar. Jai Hind. Over
Thank
to
you
you.
very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Now I would request Head of the Department of Political Science and Program Director of this lecture series, Professor Rajveer Singh Dalal, sir, to give an introduction about this. Sir.
Hello. Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Acha, thank you. Thank you. I am really thankful to Dr. Vinod ji and Manish ji who came forward in collaboration with our department, Department of Political Science, to organize this international lecture series on such a very important, relevant, and contemporary issue. That is, the title of the series is COVID-19 Issues, Policies, and Challenges. So far, it is the first one lecture in the series in which very distinguished speakers from Niti Aayog, advisor from Niti Aayog, Shri Shivendu ji Jyoti Sinha ji is available with us. As I would like to inform all the participants here that under the dynamic leadership of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor R.C. Koharji, we are organizing a number of such series, that may be the lecture series, both national and international level. Simultaneously, we organized workshop, webinars on very contemporary, relevant, and recent issues in different departments as well as in different faculties. So far, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, is concerned. In recent, just 2 days before, we are in a seminar and some students or other participants, they give comments to us. Sir, when other universities are not in a position to conduct the classes regularly, you are going to organize such events almost daily. Hardly any day passes when we are not organizing one activity or the others. And by all the departments on a very relevant topics. So the credit goes to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, who always motivate us, who always remains behind us a moral force, as well as who guides the university in such a I can say pandemic situations. Dear participants, as we know that the almost 1.5 years has gone, this pandemic has disturbed or put a havoc over the world. Even developed nations, they could not sustain or save themselves from it. Today's our main issue is mobilizing international assistance for mitigating COVID-19 problem. I think it is a very relevant topic. We have to see, and I hope that the speakers of the day, they particularly Sinha Sahab, he will point out, being the advisor of our think tank of the government of India, what efforts we have made at national and international level. All of us knows that the remedy of this pandemic is, to a greater extent, is that of awareness. The government started 3T programs, tracing or tracking, we can say, testing as well as treatment. Simultaneously, we have to say what are the other curative measures as well as preventive. Preventive means what awareness or how we can create awareness among the people, maybe that of social distancing, maybe use of sanitizers or other things. So I hope that the different issues in this series will be discussed later on. So our university is the I think it is the first one in this direction to organize such a series on these issues to create awareness among the students as well as other participants. Maybe our motive is to create such mass awareness. So this I once again thanks to all our esteemed teams who are organized this program, as well as our honorable speaker of the day, honorable vice chancellor, and all our faculty members, non-teaching staff. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. May I now request Dr. Jitendra Kumar, Assistant Professor in the Department of Geography, to introduce our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir.
Good morning to all of you. Thank you, Gloria ma'am, to provide me this great opportunity to introduce our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, who is eminent scholar, scientist, and academician at world scale. Sir name has been listed in the list of top 2% scientists worldwide by Stanford University. Honorable Vice Chancellor has served number of reputed positions. Recently, sir has served as a member of the University Grant Commission. He is also the chairman of Indian Academy of Microbiological Sciences and has served as the joint director of Institute of Lifelong Learning, University of Delhi. He has been felicitated as Fellow of Academy of Microbiological Sciences, Fellow of National Academy of Sciences, India, Fellow of National Academy of Agriculture Sciences, and Fellow of Biotech Research Society. His major research area is crop bioproduct biotechnology comprising of wood degrading enzyme production and their application in biobleaching, biorating, biodinking, and production of animal feed and bioethanol. He has developed an eco-friendly process for bleaching of paper pulp. It is an improved process for bioconversion of wheat straw into nutritionally enriched and digestible animal feed following solid state fungal fermentation and an innovative process of the production of bioethanol. Sir has completed more than 18 projects funded by DBT, DST, UGC, CSIR, etc. He has 4 patents to his credit in different areas of crop bioproduct, biotechnology, and has authored more than 200 publications and also edited 5 books. The total citation of Scopus is more than 6,000, H index is 44, and I-10 index is 93, reflect the quality and excellence of research at worldwide. Sir is chairman, member of Executive Council, Academic Council, court, governing boards, various universities, and also served as member of Executive Council and governing body of UGC NEC. Moreover, served as member expert of Animal Task Forces, Bioremediation Technology and Department of Technology, Government of India, and Steering Committee for the Center of Excellence Program of the Ministry of Environment and Forest, Government of India at CEMD, University of Delhi. Sir has also been the president of Association of Microbiologists of India 2011. He is editor of scientific reports, Nature Publishing Groups, Journal of Sustainable Energy, and Indian Journal of Microbiology. Sir has also served as associate editor of Annals of Microbiology and guest editor of special issues of biodegradation and 3 biotech journals. Besides, he is reviewer of various international journals. Sir is a recipient of Lifetime Achievement Award AMI 2019, the prestigious Professor G.S. Rangaswamy Memorial Award 2017 from Association of Microbiologists of India, AMI, Dr. G.B. Manjrekar Award, AMI Platinum Jubilee Lifetime Achievement Award 2013, etc. Sir has contributed in the development of model curriculum for UGC in accordance with the choice-based credit system for more than 100 undergraduate courses. In 2014, drafting UGC Regulation 2018 on minimum qualification for appointment of teachers and other academic staff in university and colleges and measure for the maintenance of standards in higher education and guidelines for examination and new session calendar as chairperson of the committee. Now I humbly request to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, to please address the inaugural session of International Lecture Series. Sir, please.
Honorable Shri Sudhendu Jyoti Sinha ji, Advisor Niti Aayog, Government of India, Dr. Rajbir Dalal ji, other deans of different faculties, head of the departments, my other faculty colleagues, students, research students, and faculty from other universities who have joined, say, today's webinar to listen to Shri Sinha ji. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really grateful to Shri Sinha ji for accepting our invitation to speak to all of us about a very important issue, which is, I think, that of most importance as not only for our nation, but say for the whole world. Sinha Saab, I would certainly like to bring to your notice that this university, as per the government direction, has already decided and developed the calendar for various activities to celebrate Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. But in addition to that, and that we have been celebrating, say, since the month of March, and today in the series, I think it is the 10th or 11th, say, program. In addition to that, only last week we have decided that this is not enough, that you design or finalize a kind of calendar for various activities, but when the whole year we have been, say, emphasizing on celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, then I think it is the duty of all the departments and the faculty to know about the kind of developments have taken place in their own subject. And they should have a complete, say, the directory of that. And that will be a good way of, say, getting a kind of literature and the status. Even that will help, say, in mapping the good quality of academic development, good quality of research development, and of course, the kind of the waste kind of, say, the addition in the literature. And if you could bring out together the 75 years progress about each subject of our university itself, like, say, near about we do have 34 to 35, say, different disciplines. And of course, likewise, the other universities may also work on that. That will give, say, I think, our 75 is the progress in front of us, and we can think of where we were, where we are, and where we have to go. This way, that will help in planning the future program, that future kind of the academics, and certainly it will help in deciding the future course of research. And especially, I think we have been working on executing our national education plan, which we have developed in the university. And ours is the first university to have a complete plan to be executed. And we have started, executing it in a phased manner. And when we have complete status, before us, we will be able to design the quality and the better, quality curriculum. That we have been doing at present. And for today's, seminar, which has been organized by Department of Geography on mobilizing international assistance for mitigating COVID pandemic. I think it's a very pertinent, topic, and you have, chosen and selected, Sri Sinaji, who has a better, understanding about various issues and policies, and of course the challenges what our country, not only our country, but specifically we are more concerned about our country, we have been facing. And you all are eager to listen to him, but you have given me the responsibility. Let me also speak a bit what I know and what I perceive. Dear friends, you all know that corona disease, which is commonly known as COVID-19 pandemic caused by SARS, COVID-2, which the full, if you talk about severe acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus 2, has now engulfed the whole world with its effects for more than a year and a half. Dear friends, you all know very well that the first outbreak of COVID-19 could be traced back to the city of Wuhan in China in early December 2019. Since 2019 to this day, the whole of the mankind has been working under, of course, the circumstances, but I think very cooperatively with each other to tackle this unprecedented situation and suggest solutions to overcome the same. Because from the various sectors, government, central government, state government, the various organizations, even the institutional educational institutions and individual, I think they have been participating in this program. In this direction, if we talk about, India has also met with its own peculiar set of challenges and issues. And simultaneously, our union government, under the dynamic leadership of, Shri Narendra Modi ji, along with the experts from various fields, scientists and pharmaceutical companies, have been involved in the right earnest to come up with these steps and policies and lead the world in controlling the pandemic. Dear friends, if we talk a bit about the various issues and challenges, the first case in India was confirmed on 30th January 2020. Italy and Spain had their first cases confirmed a day later. The USA and its first case confirmed on 20th of January. After almost 2 months, India has had only 20 COVID-19 confirmed deaths as against 9,000 in Italy, 5,000 in Spain, and 1,200 in USA. Since the tracing of first case to this day, India has come along through first wave of COVID-19 and currently going through the second wave, which again we know very well, we have been experiencing and we have been watching carefully that the second wave has been more fatal. But certainly we are on the way to control this as well. Ladies and gentlemen, among the numerous issues, India has been dealing with the issues at various fronts. In the form of economic impact, where the downturn has greatly affected people from the lower socioeconomic stratum during this pandemic. In terms of socio-cultural challenges, the social fabric of India thrives on interdependence, both emotional and economic, with families, relatives, and friends. Close physical interactions, dear friends, like living in crowded housing and other places you know very well, like our old street systems in villages and old market also with a very, very narrow roads. These kind, and of course, in addition to that, our habit, you can say, or our tradition also, that there is a large gathering in our marriages or any other, like say, the kind of the religious functions or any other, say, the gathering. These are commonly, you can say that these are the deterrent to social distancing, and that we have very clearly, very obviously, I think, come across during this pandemic situation or the spread of pandemic. Therefore, we have to be very, very careful, and we have to make people aware that having a social distance or physical distance, whatever you like to call it, I think we need to follow that. But when it comes to the impact on health, prevalent diseases and the ever-increasing population becomes the major challenge in India's case. Morbidity and mortality due to COVID-19 in India are largely attributable to comorbid conditions, that is, non-communicable diseases like diabetes, hypertension, or cardiovascular disease. You might be watching every day different channels on TV, and our doctors have been advising you. Another major important health issue which has been evidently emerging in the course of this pandemic is the looming crisis of mental health. Yes, because of I think, the panic, and automatically the panic, say, is created. It's not that somebody is creating, but say, I think automatically when you know about so many, say diseased persons and so many, say, the problems, automatically you get a panic. Increase in chronic stress, anxiety, depression, alcohol dependence, and to an extent, the domestic violence, say, sometimes. And all these have been reported as a consequence of the nationwide lockdown. On the other hand, also, we have to understand that lockdown was very important. And say lockdown in the first wave, I think, helped us in controlling the disease, say, I think, very fast. But now imposing the lockdown also has so many kind of the issues. Once the government has to look into that. Because controlling disease is one aspect, but certainly we have to see about our economy, about the livelihoods, about the industry, about the transport, about the health services. So there are so many issues, say, before the government, because we are sitting say, individually sitting and discussing, maybe on phone or maybe within the family. The situation is different. But when you look into from, say, the perspective of the government, they have to see all these kind of aspects and say, I think, wisely the decisions have been taken either by the state government or the central governments. And now, of course, we are on the way to control this problem. Dear friends, the recent surge in the demand of liquid oxygen, life-saving medicines, and ventilators across the nation due to rising number of cases in the second wave did pose a great challenge for the country. No doubt about that, but we never expected that it will come with such a fast pace. It took, say, really a kind of momentum which affected drastically. Dear friends, and of course, such situation always when posing a challenge, and then we come across the kind of gaps, say, present in our healthcare system. as there was paucity of medical infrastructure as well as lack of medical personnel. And when any situation which gives us a picture and then we come across and then immediately say there are action plan to overcome these kind of the problems. And I think government has very wisely taking its step and trying their best as possible as they can. Policies, if we talk about, India being the second most populated nation in the world has emerged as an inspiration and example for the world to deal with the pandemic. The Indian government, central or state level, if you talk about, is working intensely and expeditiously to minimize the number of cases and consequences on daily basis and is taking all necessary steps to combat the challenges and threat posed by this growing invisible pandemic war involving public with the assistance of medical organizations, nurses, NGOs, police forces, including paramilitary and all others who are involved. In this direction, the government, with quick response from the policymakers of India, started nationwide tracing, testing, and treatment. The program popularly known as 3Ts. Dear friends, with the help of the pharma giants like Serum Institute of India and Bharat Biotech, India was able to develop its own indigenous vaccine named as Covishield and Covaxin, and started its vaccination program by focusing on the frontline workers and giving them priority in the vaccination process. And the government of India has taken into consideration both allopathic and Ayurvedic medical knowledge, and the Ministry of Ayush made commendable recommendations based on scientific publications for preventive measures and boosting immunity with special reference to respiratory health. And you can think of that the kind of program that first the frontliners were vaccinated, then of course the senior citizens 65 and above, then of course say the persons who are taken above 40, and then of course 18 to 40. So this is how I think they have to go in a phased manner, in a well-planned manner. And now, of course, the government of India is very much in a phase that even the children, will be vaccinated in the time to come. And the government of India has, I think, announced that by December, 108 crore, the citizens will be vaccinated. And I think we should have a confidence in the government, and we should believe that, and certainly India will progress in that direction, and India will be able to control all these things. Dear friends, as a response to the crisis, Government of India announced a fiscal stimulus of 20 trillion rupees, which is an approximate 10% of, the GDP. As I was telling you, before Government of India, it's not only one thing that you have to control. Certainly, it's really important. But on the other hand, that how to take care of, the other issues related to the whole of the nation. The Food Corporation of India allotted 12.96 lakh metric tons of food grains under the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana as an initiative of Government of India in its fight against COVID-19. Because many people might be losing their, jobs. Number I don't have, but yes, this is the situation and everybody knows that, because we cannot move away from the truth. Along with this, provisions have been made to provide dry ration to all the people in the BPL category and those in need of that at present because of the one or the other disturbance. Equally important that the judiciary has also been working proactively during the pandemic in hearing the matters on an urgent and priority basis, dear friends. The government has diverted the supply of industrial oxygen, because when there is a oxygen demand is increasing, they have diverted oxygen, industrial oxygen to the health sector in order to meet the demands of liquid oxygen. And now I think there's no, say, scarcity of oxygen, say, in our country at this point of time. The ability of the country to produce low-cost COVID-19 vaccine has benefited low-income countries that cannot afford expensive vaccines. Government of India produced it, and there was a stage that they helped the other countries as well. And it's always, I think, if you could help someone, you should help. And now, of course, there is, because of the second phase, the situation is different, and the government is taking every step. Say, if you ask about me, and I would like to take up this issue, say the matter a bit under that India, with its diplomatic acumen, has been successful in mobilizing international assistance for mitigating COVID pandemic. Dear friends, when we talk about mobilizing the international assistance, India got aid and assistance from all over the world in response to its vaccine Maitri program. All India strived to supply the vaccines to those nations who lacked the infrastructure. The world was witnessing another version of cooperative coexistence and the broader notions of humanity across the borders. All these steps were aimed at one target, that is controlling the spread of virus and containing the pandemic. When India saw a sudden spike in number of positive cases, relief aid started pouring from all over the world for India in various forms, like in terms of cryogenic liquid tankers, oxygen concentrators, ventilators, and so many other forms. Major nations like Russia, US, France, Germany are assisting India by supplying raw materials. Russia has also extended its helping hand by sending its indigenous Sputnik vaccines to India. The supply of oxygen for the moment is in short, so the emphasis now is on procuring oxygen. India will be getting 550 additional oxygen generating plants, 4,000 oxygen concentrators, 10,000 oxygen cylinders, huge doses of remdesivir and antiviral drug favipiravir from Russia and UAE has also been earmarked for supply to India. Ladies and gentlemen, not only that, the Gilead Sciences, the American company that manufactures remdesivir, has pledged to provide 4 lakh doses free of cost, say, to India. Another 4 lakh units of the medicine will be sourced from Egypt, where Gilead has a production unit. Dr. Reddy will be manufacturing Russia's Sputnik vaccine, and it was announced that 60% of the Sputnik vaccines will be indigenously produced in India. And I think the production will take very soon, and I think the situation will improve every month. Every month you will see that number of doses, say, produced are increasing, I think, several fold. India in the last 15 years, if we talk about, and more had, say, refused to accept foreign aid. I mean, in the last 15 years, India refused to, say, get the foreign aids, what I want to say, relying on its capability of raising resources internally. And that's always good, that how long you will depend on, say, the others. Like, if you ask me personally, subsidies, I think we need to go away. We need to go away. And every citizen of our country need to think. And government may not be able to cut your subsidies, but I think if we have to become Atmanirbhar, which I personally feel, then each one of us will have to think, no, I think we won't take subsidy. We will work hard, and this is how you can help in building the nation. But as it was decided in the last 15 years, but when the situation changes, the Foreign Secretary of India, Harsh Sringala, said, "We have assisted other countries and we are getting assistance now," referring to the comments of US President Joe Biden after their talks with Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji. The topmost priority is being given to meet the immediate requirements in terms of healthcare facilities in combating the second wave of COVID-19. This way, I mean to say that our government of India has been making every effort, say, so that, say, we can save our people from this, say, fatal disease. Dear friends, many countries such as US and Gulf nations have come forward and offered to help India, as India has been proactive in helping other nations over the last 1 year. देखिए, आप मदद करेंगे तो आपकी मदद करने के लिए लोग आ जाएंगे, इसलिए ये भारत पहले भी करता रहा है और अब भी किया है, और पीछे जो वैक्सीन भी दूसरे देशों को दी है, इसके व्यू अलग अलग लोगों ने लिए हैं, लेकिन हमें थोड़ा सा बैठ के कंस्ट्रक्टिवली सोचने की जरूरत होती है कि क्यों ऐसा किया, किस सिचुएशन में किया, हम कर सकते थे, हमने किया, आज हमें जरूरत है तो हम दूसरों से ही मदद ले रहे हैं, और हमें मदद मिल रही है क्योंकि हम वो कंट्रीमैन हैं, वो कंट्री है हमारा जो कि दूसरों की मदद कर सकता है, इसलिए आपको भी मिल रही है. The US administration led by President Biden has redirected its own order of AstraZeneca manufacturing supplies to India, which will allow India to produce over 20 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine. He has reversed his earlier decision. And that's only because of, say, Government of India's diplomatic approach and the sharing and caring for other countries as well. India is also on its way to grant emergency medical clearance for the use of vaccines by companies like Pfizer, Johnson and Moderna. And once it is done, I think India will be a place where a lot of manufacturing can take place. In other words, I would like to say that India may act as hub of vaccine manufacturing, because India has the capacity to do that. I'm sure, and you all should be confident that with the various, say, steps which Government of India, the different state governments, say, at their own level they have taken, with that, India will successfully emerge out from the current pandemic situation towards a better and brighter future, learning from the struggles and crises faced and strongly prepared for any such dreadful future event. Dear friends, we need to be very confident that yes, we will come out of this situation. But I would say that each one of us need to be very careful as well, and we need to take precautions, that maintaining the social distance, using your masks, and of course, using sanitizers, or wash your hands, say, with soap as many times as you could. Dear friends, once again, I extend my gratefulness to Sri Sinha Saab for sparing his time and I think making us the real situation about the various situations and the advices so that we can follow them. Because while we learn the reality, we know the reality, that's too through a person like, say, Mr. Sinha. I think our faculty, our students, our non-teaching staff, and others, those who have joined this webinar, they will develop a confidence. They will come out of the panic situation, and they will become the partner to the Government of India's program or state government's program in controlling this pandemic disease. I also congratulate the organizer, Department of Geography, for organizing this program on mobilizing international assistance for mitigating COVID pandemic. Thank you very much for giving an opportunity to share my view with, say, all of you, and of course, to welcome, say, Shri Sinha Saab. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your informative, inspiring, and motivating words, and also for supporting and guiding us in this time of crisis. May I now request Dr. Manish Kumar, teacher in charge of Geography Department and convener of the lecture series, to introduce our eminent guest speaker, Sri Sudhendu Jyoti Sinha, sir. Sir.
Thank you, Dr. Gloria. Today's expert and renowned personality will be addressing all of us. Sri Sudhendu Jyoti Sinha sir is having a strong academic background and vast knowledge and expertise in versatile fields. Apart from this, he is a senior civil servant and worked in different capacities in his professional career, for which he has been recognized and awarded several times. In brief, I would like to present his profile for the participants. He is alumnus of one of the prestigious College of Delhi University, St. Stephen's College, Delhi. He has experience of over 27 years in operations, infrastructure planning, coordination, management at field and policy making level in Indian Railways, with considerable success and appreciation. His performance has been recognized and awarded twice at national level. He got National Award for e-governance in 2019 and 20 for excellence in providing citizen-centric delivery by Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances, Government of India. And he also got National Award for Outstanding Service, Ministry of Railway, Government of India in 2006, and thrice at the ministry level. He also served as Dean of the Indian Railway Institute of Transport Management, Lucknow, and General Manager, Web Applications at the Center for Railway Information System. He has training and enrichment from Japan, Malaysia, Singapore, Germany, US, and lot more. At present, he is advisor at Niti Aayog, the apex think tank of Government of India. Now, I am respectfully inviting Sri Sudhendu Jyoti Sinha sir to deliver lecture on the topic Mobilizing International Assistance for Mitigating COVID Pandemic for our benefit in this hour of crisis which our nation facing at present. Thank you. Thank you. Please, sir.
Thank you, Professor Manish, Dr. Gloria, all the distinguished faculty heads of different schools, and of course, the most important, Vice Chancellor, sir. It was really to start the day with a refreshing song, the Kulgeet, in which I picked up a word that was the Rash Nirman, construction, rebuilding, reconstruction of India, of the nation. That is what we are all committed to. My gratitude to Vice Chancellor sir for almost giving a kind of 360-degree perspective on COVID and the way we have attempted to mitigate it, the way forward that is there. And of course, in the process, he was speaking quite high of the government where we have done well. This is something really great, sir, because it comes with years of discerning experience. Otherwise, government is there only for a kind of lashing and for the beating. So you say that government has not performed, and when the government has performed, then you know that there are so many others to take the credit for. But so nice of you, sir, your magnanimity, that you said that government has been doing well in so many aspects of governance, especially with regard to managing this pandemic. Now, let me come to the topic, that is how we were trying to mitigate this pandemic, the sufferings during this pandemic, and what was the role that we played. To all the participants, let me just tell you that please do not try to locate any motivation or inspiration out of my lecture. It is not there. It is just not there. In fact, I am also myself looking for lighthouses and inspiration among you all. But yes, this is a story that is worth speaking, certainly worth speaking, telling about, and probably worth listening also. So let me tell you that how exactly we were going around. Manish, Professor Manish, I hope I can share a short presentation, is it?
Yes, sir. Please.
Okay, thank you. Is it visible, please?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay.
Slides are visible.
Okay, so now let me take you to the entire way how we did it. To start with, on 24th, 25th of night of April, my CEO just called me into his chamber and said that that was the time, it was very difficult. COVID was almost peaking up. So he called me to his chamber and said that, Sinha, I want you to lead this fight against COVID-19 pandemic and mobilizing this international assistance from the front. And he did say that you can put your 29 years of service on one side, 29, 30 years of service on one side, and the experience, the impact, and the scale that you will have, you will come to know, you will experience while dealing with this particular thing will be more than what you have accumulated over these years. So, that was a kind of tee off. So I said that, okay, let's see how it goes on. We started the job. Initially, there was tremendous confusion, as it always starts with. Government of India at that time, they had made 6 empowered groups. These were the 6 empowered groups. And group 3, that is coordinating with private sector, NGOs and international organization, came to be my specific responsibility. Of course, we had a role in other areas also, in other groups also. But these 6 principal empowered groups were supposed to be leading the entire nation out of this pandemic, out of this COVID. That was a kind of mandate to these 6 groups. Subsequently, they were expanded to 10 so that everything is covered. But then our role was confined to managing these international donations. So the mandate was clear. This was the mandate. The mandate was coordinating with private sector, NGOs, international organizations. CSOs, civil service organizations, and NGOs, non-governmental organizations, United Nations, private sector resources were there. So basically what we see is that two kinds of donations were coming. First was that government to government, what we call G2G, and then there was P2G, that is private to government. These two were the principal streams from which the donations were coming to us. Now we had clearly laid down that what we will accept. So when it started, MOHFW, Ministry of Health, Ministry of External Affairs, they laid down SOPs. They laid down a couple of pages of very simple SOPs that what will be the acceptance from them. That clearly delineated that what is going to be our priority. In the same list was mentioned that what will be the threshold value that in which we can accept them. And it was also detailed that what should be the technical specifications so that when they come to us, they are in a workable condition. So that was a kind of SOPs which were laid down. But let me tell you, the moment we started working and the moment we also framed the SOP in which we said that how exactly these donations should be coming to us, we saw that we were completely swamped by requests from all over the world. So like all the embassies, high commissions, consulates abroad, all the international donation agencies, international bodies, international organizations, the best of the private sectors and the chambers of commerce and industries abroad, all of them combined together, they wanted to find out, they wanted to get to us. Now this was something really, it was overwhelming for us. If I recollect, in every 3 minutes, once in 3 minutes, either I was attending a call or I was responding on my mail. So these two activities there. We set up a team. So I chose my own people from my own, those who were efficient, and 5 of them were placed at Niti Aayog. We placed equal number with Ministry of Health. Similarly, we had our presence at the Red Cross. We also had our visible presence at the airport and the ports so that customs and other clearances, those coordinations can always be done. You know what happens there when a pandemic is of this magnitude, different government departments, all of them are meaningful, all of them have good contents, good intentions, all of them want to serve the country, to perform the best. But the problem is there is absence of synergy. How to synergize, how to orchestrate their initiative so that the challenges could be surmounted. That is one of the major tasks before us, and of course Niti Aayog was there to perform it. So you see before yourself the list of some of the principal donors, most important internationally agencies who wanted to get to us, wanted to know that what exactly is our priority and help us out. CSS and NGOs, of course, they have got a principal role to play within the country, and they are they have got the confidence of the community, so we could not have ignored them. We wanted to have a positive role of these people also. So EG3, that was our EG, Empowered Group, that reached out to more than 1.1 lakh NGOs, and we appealed to them to assist the government in their efforts. Different activities were there, multiple of them. We mobilized CSOs at the field level, and micro-containment strategy, as Vice Chancellor has said, that it was necessary that the COVID appropriate behavior that ought to be reinforced and reiterated to the public again and again. That was one of the principal activities. So there was an awareness campaign, mask awareness campaign with regard to social distancing, sanitization, and keeping on hygiene, that in which Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, they were chipped in, and they started working. So with the support of CSOs, NGOs, and development partners, lot of deliveries could take place, not only of medical and medicine-related items, but also of the kind of food packets and supporting to the women, children, and the vulnerable group, PPE kits kind of thing. Those were also there. Some of the works you can see here, the work done by CSOs and NGOs, some of the most important, meaningful, impactful NGOs, Akshay Patra Foundation, they served cooked meals all across, delivered essential grocery kits. Hemkund Foundation set up COVID relief funds and ration units. Food packets were distributed in Delhi and NCR regions. Piramal Foundation, they were working. And let me inform you all that within a very short span of time, most of the medical items manufacturing facilities in the country, they ramped themselves up. And most of them were working in 100 plus of their capacity. That was the level where most of these private units, whether somebody is making a cryogenic container, say Inox, for example, or maybe VRV, Asia Pacific in say Chittoor district of Andhra Pradesh, whether they are there, or a very small unit which is making just a soap. All these private facilities, I'm not talking of government units alone, even these private facilities, they ramped up, they scaled up their production in a big way. And of course, government was always there to support them. Government was ready to support them with advance funds and advance orders, so they can be assured of. During this COVID management, it was not the paucity of fund that was causing the problem. Fund was always there. India cannot internationally, we have got such a huge reserve of foreign reserves are there. So that is not the problem. The major problem was, the major challenge was that supply chain cannot be set up overnight in the country. So if a limited number of, say, concentrators can be produced in the country, within a very short span of time, they cannot be tripled or quadrupled. So we had to depend on these international donations. And yes, power of youths. Most of the participants who are there, I'm sure that many of them, the students who are there, they can see that what the role of NCC, NSS, Sainik Board, NYKs, all of them are working. It was developing a kind of Jan Andolan, a public movement for awareness with regard to COVID appropriate behavior, and also to provide assistance while maintaining your own standards of protocol, your own standards of sanitation and discipline. The chief secretaries, the state governments also, they were kind of helping us out. And let me tell you our engagement with private sector. Our private sector engagement, private sectors, internationally, they are very profound presence is there, and they are very rich also. So if you try to compare between the government to government and private to government kind of support with respect to the value of donations, you will find that even from private to government, that support has been substantial. It is a very high scale. It is not much less than that of what support was coming from government to government. So you see that the most important donors, the most important partners, USISPF, United States and India Strategic Partnership Forum, similarly USIBC, International Business Corporations, they are a kind of a group of chambers of commerce and industries of that country who roped their money in, who plugged their money in, went all around the world purchasing the items of our priority and then in turn donating. Even in the logistics support were being provided by many of these international carriers. For example, FedEx was there, Qatar Airways were there, and even Government of India, once we realized that our support we need support at a very fast pace, we just got our Air Force planes, aircrafts, and then our own domestic carrier, India Airlines, and with the tie-up with other Star Alliance airlines, we started providing a kind of free support, free shipment support for getting these things into the country. So these key issues were addressed. Aid, the challenge that was coming in the beginning was that there was only one channel, that was our channel, which was open for acceptance of donations. Now this was proving to be very, very heavy for us also, for the donor also, because there was a chance that there could be an element of delay. How to tide over this crisis? So what our CEO very rightly suggested, that let us go for multiplicity of channels. So immediately we opened up multiple channels, from private to government, private to Indian Red Cross, and private to state government. First two were already there. So private to state government, private to public sector, private to charitable institutions, and private to philanthropic organizations, philanthropic organization to philanthropic organizations. These many channels were open with a kind of mandate, a caveat, a kind of instruction that for the end user, it has to be free. You can't be enjoying the government different customs and tax waivers, the integrated tax waivers, and then finally start selling the product in the market. It was completely that, okay, the end product, end beneficiary, the end patient to the patient, it has to be free. So with that caveat, we opened up multiple channels, and then things started flowing in a big way. So you can see that private companies were supplementing oxygen capabilities. Oxygen capability was one of the major limiting factor, how to go it up in a very fast pace, because oxygen is not only required for medical units, they are also required for medical facilities. They are also required, they have got industry applications also. And interestingly, they have got industry applications for those manufacturing units also that produce medical items. So it was a kind of vicious cycle, how to come out of it, how to ensure that oxygen is supplied, kept on being supplied to the hospitals, at the same time to the manufacturing units also, so that the balance can be, the trade-off could be maintained. L&T, they were working on a war footing. They provided us 4 PSA plants of class plants, and they were installed in the vulnerable areas. So the principle was very clear. Principle of our SOP was very clear, that if a donor is approaching Niti Aayog, then Niti Aayog, what I used to do was very simple process. I used to assign one of our officials with him to provide him with a kind of end-to-end support. Now the donor doesn't have to run for anything. It is my official who will get all the approvals, all the clearances. He will get the shipment details, and till the last, in the sense that till the last point where he has to thank him that your donation has been received, it has been deployed at such and such place. That is also very important, because you will see for this international donors and donors from Indian community abroad also, they are equally interested in finding out that the donation which they have given, they have been meaningfully deployed, impactfully deployed at the right place, or they are lying somewhere in the warehouse. That was very important. And when we started, let me tell you that after 2 or 3 days of hard work, the first news item was that was ringing all around the country was that where are the 300 tons of supplies that came from abroad? Are they languishing at the airport? So that was the news item that came. So immediately we decided that it is time to recalibrate our strategy. Hitherto, the idea was that we should keep on working, and so many methods that we are adopting, our deployment, our interaction with the media, that should be kept minimal. That was the approach. But once such negative news items started pouring in, then we decided that no, it's time to revise our strategy. And we went then whole hog completely with this media, telling them that this is precisely what we are doing, sharing with them the photographs, tweeting them, so that the whole world knows that if something has come, where it has been deployed. And the principle was very clear that Niti Aayog will take the clearance from MEA, so that the donor is a bona fide donor. There is no surreptitiously some wrong element, some internationally wrong agency is trying to push something inside the country. Then we are also expected to, Niti was supposed to get the technical specifications cleared, if need be from ICMR or if need be from Ministry of Health. Then we had to ensure that if states' involvement is there, then we take a certification that the states will certify that it is going to the beneficiaries, and it will be given free of cost. After all this tie-up, we first found out that what was the shipment details, how it is being shipped, whether we are providing them shipment support. Then another layer of approval was required. And then when the thing used to come to us, we used to go back to the Ministry of Health, because they had the real perspective of what exactly the country's situation is, which state is more vulnerable, which is less, where the peak is there, and when the peak is likely to come, which has passed that plateau, all those things, information, because they had. So we used to go to them for a kind of allocation. So allocation was done by the Ministry of Health, and rest everything was supposed to be done by us. And finally it was dispatched. Many things, I myself came to know during this time. These, I have been a student of humanities. These technical things were never in my vocabulary. For the first time, I realized that a ventilator, an upscale ventilator of Philips, has got 11 accessories. I realized that ventilator, which prima facie looks to be so simple an item in the hospital, that has to be configured first, then installed, and then it has to be permanently monitored on a periodic basis, so that the systems are in place. All these new things we were coming to know about. Suzuki had donated ambulances. Amazon were partners, selling so many. They were bringing oxygen concentrators. Philips, as I mentioned. As Vice Chancellor also mentioned, that oxygen was one of the most critical item that was causing problem for the country. How to ramp it up in an immediate way. That was, and you see for yourself, the pre-pandemic production was 900 metric tons, and current production, but in a time span of say 1 month, 1.5 months, it is 9,500. So 10 times the production could be ramped. And total LMO stock, LMO stands for liquid medical oxygen stock availability. You see what a fabulous availability is there. That is why this oxygen crisis we could sail through. But initially, of course, the entire medical infrastructure was completely looked like crumbling. The whole world appeared to be walking towards the hospital. Where from so many beds? How to manage that? That was becoming a principal problem. And on the top of it, these critical items, whether it is BiPAP, NIV, ventilators, oxygen concentrators, oxygen cylinders, and some of the most critical medicines, remdesivir, as Vice Chancellor said about Gilead. Yes, Gilead are a Swiss company, and they have got units elsewhere. So how to get remdesivir, how to get tocilizumab. Then after, suddenly we realized that the post-COVID recovery period, that it is also getting into complications, in the sense that sometimes it's black fungus. That instance is also so amphotericin B and postanozole. Those new additions were made into the list of priority items. And let me tell you, the customs people, the finance people, all of them worked day in and day out to ensure that custom clearance is done within 2 to 3 hours. because the entire process that I mentioned you, we were taking almost 2 to 3 days. In 2 to 3 days for the donor, everything was lined up. All clearances, all approvals, everything was available. And if shipment support is there, then the Air Force planes were told that you are supposed to be going to such and such place. I can give you an example. Our Air Force planes we took a sortie. Alone, they went to Hamburg and they brought 4 trucks with rigid, fixed cryogenic containers. You see, tankers were imported by the best of the Indian industries, Inox, IOCL, Adani, Tata's, Reliance. Everybody was into the action support of this COVID pandemic. Steps taken by government of India to boost oxygen supply. We needed cylinders, we needed transport support and technology, of course, so that it could be immediately ramped up. And that was the output that within such a short period of, say, 1 to 2 months or maybe 3 months, we were able to scale it up to 10 times. International organizations and aid management, yes, United Nations also, they chipped in a big way. The UNICEF was there, UNDP, Red Cross Society was, International Red Cross Society. They were also, their cold chain equipment, how to create, monitor the vaccination centers. And, we try to always compare our position with that of international. We say that, okay, it was done at such a fast pace in, say, Israel, or it was done in so fast in England, in UK. But we always forget that why it is that despite that, all our initiatives, they are sung, they are praised, they are appreciated internationally. The only reason being that the whole international community knows it all the more so well, that because of the complexity of democracy in India, by that democratic structure, I mean the federal structure. And number 2, of course, because of the scale, the huge scale that is supposed to be there. For example, Israel has got a population of 90 lakhs, that is all. So they could do it overnight. It is not possible in case of India. And moreover, the number of vaccines that have been provided, if you see, it is phenomenal. And still the government is keen that, okay, after a short, within a short time, we will be able to vaccinate each and every of the person of the country, each and every citizen of the country. Similarly, the key highlights, over 2 crore 30 lakh individual units. By individual unit, I mean, suppose one face shield is there, I take it as a unit. But the principal units, if you want to see, 27,000 oxygen concentrators, 16,000 high-end ventilators, all these things were given by the international community. It was not a kind of dole. Most of these countries who have helped us are the countries whom we have also helped them in their times of crisis. It was not that they are giving us, we were going out with a begging bowl. No, it was just a reciprocity. And they were also giving us with a lot of respect, not trying to demean us in any way. Top international donors, you can see the best of the donors, oxygen concentrators, these are the priority items. And the top donors, you see, these are the top donors. The medicines, the pharmaceutical companies, they were ready to, Roche, for example. Roche is the one that makes this tocilizumab. They also gave a lot of support to the country. And the kind of ventilators, the quality of things that they were sending to us, they were not useless things. They were upscale. So you could have the feel that all these countries, they are trying to help us in a real sense. They are having that feel for it. And if I may give you example, this is a university. Students from, say, Stuttgart University of Germany, Indian students, they collected money, they purchased something, and they gave it to us. So you can see the scale. While on one hand, Biden administration is there, and on the other hand, there is a small little student community that is trying to help the country out. And we were there to support all of them, to respect their sentiments, to thank them, to express our gratitude, and thank them that their the items which they have given us has been gainfully employed. Technology in aid management is there, because then everybody wants to know, with so much of flow, people want to know that where exactly that thing is coming. Now, every time they cannot be on communication channels. It has to be a soft platform, had to be developed, and even the thing has to be fully automated. Where the thing is traveling, where the donation item is moving forward, a GPS, a real-time tracking of consignments through GPS system were put up in all the trucks, so that we know that where exactly something is going, and in case some assistance is required, it could be immediately given. Similarly, you can see that technology was very critical. It had a very critical role to play. It came to our rescue, then only we were able to manage such a massive, we had a dashboard, we could see that which states have been given what, which state needs to be given now, and everything was available. Then only Ministry of Health could work. Similarly, we knew that each and every stage of donation, we knew that where exactly it is flowing through, what assistance is required from us. All those things were available with the help of technology. End-to-end support was available, and institution up to the consumption, up to the point of consumption, it was available. For example, I can tell you, if Amazon has given 100 ventilators, if those 100 ventilators have landed in Chennai, they have been configured at Bangalore with the permission of DRDO Delhi, if they have been decided to be allocated to DRDO Haldwani, and at Haldwani they have been configured and installed, and the patients have started using them. So many steps are there that one could track, one could find on a daily basis on the portal, on the technology platform that was available to us. These were the principal channels, as I mentioned, government to government, P2G, and through states and CSOs were there. It was fully digital, transparent, and end-to-end process was there. Priority was accorded to the states where high case burden was there. And many times, problem is that even if you are doing the good things, rather, even if you are doing whatever you do, there are 10 persons there to tell you that what you are doing is wrong. You have to come out of that sticky position, and you have to, the moment you have got confidence that your confidence is reinforced in your initiative, you have to keep on doing it, or else you will lose the track of it. You cannot be waylaid by so many statements, so many things that keep on coming. It has been a wonderful, wonderful teamwork that was there, and with the help of this teamwork alone, that we were able to do it. Now, at the end of it, let me tell you all that, of course, it was for me. I spoke to a couple of places before all the senior officials of Government of India, and I did tell them that for me it was a lifetime experience. And I still recollect that the caller's tune, the message that comes on our mobile is that अत्यंत आवश्यक होने पर ही घर से निकलें. For me, it was अत्यंत आवश्यक होने पर ही घर में जाएं. So it was all confined to the office all these days. Almost 1.5 months we were in the office. 1 month plus we were in the office. Now almost 70% it is getting over. Government's viewpoint is that we should be gradually tapering off these donations, because we are a strong country. Our systems are very strong. Maybe we were overwhelmed, and it also gives us a kind of, if in a way forward, if I might say, that it is equally important that we concentrate on all the three aspects. One is the medical facilities, treatment facilities, if I might say. And the second is, of course, the manufacturing of medical items and related pharmaceutical items. That is the second thing. And the third is, of course, the resource base, the human resource, the doctors, the paramedical staff, the sanitary workers. All of them have to be, all three of them have to be a kind of given focus. It has already come to the focus of the country, and I'm sure in times to come we will see a better health infrastructure. So when I see with a hindsight, I can only say that the entire history of this century, it will be seen with the perspective that COVID was the watershed. So we will be talking about pre-COVID and we will be talking about, say, post-COVID. And of course, I'm so happy that I was a part of, I was leading the team that was managing these donations. And to wind up, if I might say, that there is a wonderful line from Amrita Pritam. The English translation is that the memories are made of eternal beads, eternal specks. She says further that I will collect those beads again, put them into a thread. This was one such thread for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for such an elaborate and enriching lecture about the strategies taken by the Government of India in these challenging times of the pandemic. We are indeed grateful to you for accepting our invitation and sparing time from your busy schedule. Thank you once again, sir. May I now request Dr. Santesh Kumar Singh, Associate Professor in the Department of Political Science and also convener of the lecture series, to give the concluding remarks and vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Gloria. Thank you for inviting me to which I have this lecture series, which are important for us to understand. Why that is important? Definitely, I would like to mention that. Nowadays, we are listening a lot of things around us. In the crisis, like in this time of pandemic, against the government, what government is doing, why government is doing, government is failed, it has been failed, and that kind of statement we are listening every day. But whatever we have heard in last 1 hour, after listening that, we can analyze, we can assess what government has done and how government has performed during this pandemic crisis time, right? So on one hand, we are saying we are failed. On the other hand, we are witnessing the result of that effort. Like within 1.5 months, the number of cases has reduced like anything. It was like 4 lakhs cases. Now it is like 1 lakh cases. So it's going down every day. So we have to recognize the effort of those people who have contributed against this COVID-19 or against this pandemic. One point at the same time I would like to mention here, nowadays everyone is talking about like government is failed. Why government is failed? It hasn't addressed. A lot of people are not able to get bed seats, beds in hospitals, and oxygen. We are knowing like government is giving its best. I'm just telling its best. Why I'm telling its best? We have collected a number of things from abroad. A lot of people are saying in government have today I was watching news. Sisodia, the deputy CM of Delhi, Sisodia, Manish Sisodia, are telling, our government has sent all the vaccines to abroad. It has sold vaccines to abroad, foreign countries. But that is not truth. We are part of global community. We are committed for help, for assistance. We need assistance from external countries. At the same time, it's our duty to give assistance to external powers, external countries, external nations. In the case of this pandemic, we are witnessing India has done its part, its bit, not much. I'm not saying whatever happened across the globe, India is the only country doing that. We are part of COVAX. So, Endu sir, whatever we have done under that COVAX mission of WHO, right? So, whatever India has done because of its accountability towards global community, accountability towards global cooperation. So, we have to understand whatever now we are getting because of that assistance. What we have done, what we did in past, we are just getting now. So one point, under one important point I'm mentioning here, 2003 onwards, we have refused of taking any kind of aid or assistance from abroad. But in this time of pandemic, we are accepting, even we are requesting countries to provide us because basic amenities like concentrator, drugs, all these kind of stuff. But why we need such kind of thing? Because this is just like tsunami. This is just like, any disaster. Nobody never know how it will grow up and how it will go, beyond the control. And that is what happened. We should stand by. We should stand with government, not to go against government, not to basically criticize government. That is what happening in the case of Israel. We can have no example like recent conflict between Israel and Palestine, how the Prime Minister of Israel gets support of opposition parties. All the opposition parties stand with basically Netanyahu and they support it unconditionally. This is time, war time, we are with you. Pandemic is also a war time. Now we need support from each one of you, each one of us, like political parties, individuals, PSO. Sir, I have done my research on global health governance in United Nations University, International Institute of Global Health. Where having World Bank, US, the world that now we are and the few other important components within semi-periphery, which are also important within that. Developing countries are there, other international जो कारण आपने कहा ना वो वर्ल्ड बैंक के other जो agencies है, that comes under that to semi-periphery, and in periphery n number of actors are there, and the same concept we may apply in this. After looking at your slides, what I have realized, we are doing the same kind of thing. Like we in core, what we are having is government. Government is struggling. Government is doing a lot of things. In semi-periphery, we are having state government, PCUs, private sector. In periphery, we are getting a lot of support from n number of other actors. So this is what we have to understand. Criticizing government's action is very easy task. And political parties are doing here in India. They don't care how much people are dying, where people are dying, how they are dying. They don't care. What they care about is getting maximum number of votes, because they are performing just like business class, business groups like companies, factories. What they do for their benefit, their profit. In this time of crisis, political parties, opposition parties are doing the same. For example, sir, अभी आप बताओ कुंभ का मेला हुआ, महाकुंभ का, वहां बहुत सारे टेंट लगे, वो टेंट वहीं पे दब गए, उसकी फोटो खींची गई 3 साल पहले की और सर्कुलेट किया गया, कितने लोग दफना दिए गए, हजारों लाखों लोग, और हम लोग विश्वास भी कर लिए क्योंकि जो मीडिया देता है हम वही देखते हैं. दिस इज व्हाट दैट इज ना तक न्यूज. गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल्स में बेड जो है ऑक्यूपाई किया मैनिपुलेट करके, जो कि सीट नहीं मिलना चाहिए था, जो बीमार नहीं थे उनको सीट दिया गया. 100 cases are there. Why they are doing? They just want to defame Modi government. They want to defame government in this time of crisis. So we need to understand, because we all are intellectuals. We belong to a very elite class in terms of reading books, articles, papers, watching televisions, newspapers. So we have to be careful in circulating such kind of news, such kind of any thing. So in that context, sir, with these words, I will definitely come to that major part of this webinar, that is vote of thanks. A lot of things you have already discussed, sir. So I'm not going to elaborate that, but truly saying, I am personally, sir, thanking you, because I have done research in this. I'm going to write a paper on this presentation, how government has struggled and how government has dealt with this problem of COVID-19 successfully. I'm just quoting this successfully. And everyone is predicting wave 3 that is going to come. But I'm saying I don't believe in that. Nobody knows. Maybe that will be wave 3 or wave 4, wave 5, maybe, because that is pandemic. We never know. Somebody long way back said post-pandemic era, but that is never going to happen. Post-pandemic era, it will remain with us. It will always be with us. We have to survive with us. But the solution will be medication, drugs, and the facilities and the abilities and the willpower we are having to fight against such pandemics. This is what we have to understand. People are talking about the same. What they don't know. Even common people, sir, they don't know what is difference between epidemic and pandemic. But everyone is talking about government is failed, government is failed, government is failed. But they need to know those, they should understand, they should go into that. What is different between epidemic and pandemic and normal health situations, health crises? This is not normal. This is just like, crisis. Other crises are like, well, for a few days back, we had that, तूफान आया, सुनामी आया, अभी गुजरात में आया, उड़ीसा में आया, बंगाल में आया. तो ऐसे ही है. It has come. हमें नहीं पता था. A lot of people are believing. वैक्सीन बाहर भेज दिया हमने. At that time we all are aware about that. कैसे हमने केसेस को रिड्यूस किया. हमारे यहाँ केसेस सर नंबर ऑफ थाउजेंड्स में आ गए थे, बहुत कम नंबर थे. सडनली इट हैज स्पाइक्ड. तो किसी को नहीं पता क्या होगा, लेकिन गवर्नमेंट जिस दिशा में जा रही है, आई एम डैम श्योर सर, आई एम 100% श्योर कि सर आने वाले श्योर टाइम में हम लोग सेफ रहेंगे, सिक्योर रहेंगे. आज वर्ल्ड का सबसे ज्यादा वैक्सीनेशन करने वाला देश बन गया हम सर. US is one of the biggest producer of vaccines, but whatever they have done, we have already done that. आज कहता हमें क्या आता, we are known and the hub of pharmacy of world. India is known as hub of pharmacy. Whatever medicines they sell in the price of $1,000, we sell that the same medicine in $300-400. So the difference is there. So medical tourism, we are attracting now global community towards us. तो हमारा सक्सेस तो ऑलरेडी है. तो हमें ये कहना कि हम फेल हो गए, क्रिटिसाइज करना, मुझे लगता है वो अपने आप मेरे इंट्रोस्पेक्ट करने की जरूरत है. वो ये समझने की जरूरत है कि आप वाकई आंख बंद करके एनालाइज कर रहे हैं क्या. दिस इज क्राइसिस टाइम. एक पॉलिटिकल पार्टी बता दे यहाँ पे जो बोला हो कि आई एम विथ यू इन दिस time of crisis. We are with you in this time of crisis. No political parties has passed any statement in favor of government. All the political parties had passed a statement against government all the time. In Delhi government, Kejriwal every day changes its statement, his statement. One day he says something, something else. In the case of Singapore, we all have seen how our country get humiliated because of one statement of the Chief Minister of Delhi. So such kind of things should be discouraged, sir. That will be good for us. With these words, I'm coming to vote of thanks, sir. Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, Professor Asif Pohar, sir, respected Sri Sudhendu Jyoti Sinha, sir, our most valued, invited guests, colleagues, and students. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. On behalf of Department of Political Science and Department of Geography and the entire Central University of Haryana, and on my own behalf, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all for gracing the occasion and sharing with us your precious time. To begin with, first of all, I would like to express my regards and thanks to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, under whose able leadership the whole event is being organized. Because of his odious efforts and motivational approach, coordination among various stakeholders in easy and smooth, his vast experience and continuous guidance has helped us a lot sparing his days on very pertinent topic of present times. Sir, you have made us understand the root of this crisis, and also the effort given by government to fight against this COVID crisis. Thank you, sir. Sir, we all are inspired by your great words. Thank you again, sir. Now, I would like to extend my heartiest thanks to Professor Rajbir Singh Dalal, Program Coordinator, Dr. Vinod Kumar, Program Director, who as Program Director of this lecture series, put their best efforts to manage and organize everything related to the first inaugural lecture of the series. Their guidance at every stage made us easy to plan and coordinate among various departments. And finally, I would like to thank this opportunity to place on record our hearty thanks again to Honorable BC Sir for his support, guidance, and motivation he has extended to all of us in organizing online lecture series. From the bottom of my heart, all the honorable dignitaries and colleagues who have taken out their precious time to make this event a great success. I'm thankful to all the members of the organizing committee who have worked directly or indirectly to conduct the event perfectly and smoothly. I would like to thank the IT team for their prompt control and provision of the electronic facilities. Well, an event like this cannot happen overnight. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of very motivated and dedicated colleagues, scholars, and students of the department and university who have enthusiastically supported us in organizing the event and looking forward The same for the upcoming lectures of the series. Thank you very much.